Hi everyone. I'm going to be reading the intro to On Writing Well by William Zinsser. This is a classic guide to writing nonfiction. Introduction. When I first wrote this book in 1976, the readers I had in mind were a relatively small segment of the population: students, writers, educators, and people who wanted to learn to write. I wrote it on a typewriter, the highest technology then available. I had no inkling of the electronic marvels just around the corner that were about to revolutionize the act of writing. First came the word processor in the 1980s, which made the computer an everyday tool for people who had never thought of themselves as writers. Then came the internet and email in the 1990s, which completed the revolution. Today, everybody in the world is writing to everybody else, keeping in touch and doing business across every border and time zone. To me, this is nothing less than a miracle, curing overnight what appeared to be a deep American disorder. I've been repeatedly told by people in non-writing occupations, especially people in science, technology, medicine, business, and finance, that they hate writing and can't write and don't want to be made to write. One thing they particularly didn't want to write was letters. Just getting started on a letter loomed as a chore that was with so many formalities. Where's the stationery? Where's the envelope? Where's the stamp? What they would keep, or that would keep them, that they would keep putting it off, and when they finally did sit down to write, they would spend the entire first paragraph explaining why they hadn't written sooner. In the second paragraph, they would describe the weather in their part of the country, a subject of no interest anywhere else. Only in the third paragraph would they begin to relax and say what they wanted to say. Then came along email, and all the formalities went away. Email has no etiquette. It doesn't require stationery or neatness or proper spelling or preliminary chit-chat. Email writers are like people who stop a friend on the sidewalk and say, "Did you see the game last night?" Well, no amenities. They just start typing at full speed. So here's the miracle. All those people who said they hate writing and can't write and don't want to write can write and do want to write. In fact, they can't be turned off. Never had so many Americans written so profusely and with so few inhibitions, which means that it wasn't a cognitive problem after all. It was a cultural problem rooted in the old bugaboo of American education: fear. Fear of writing gets planted in American school children at an early age, especially children of scientific and our technical, our mechanical bent. They are led to believe that writing is a special language owned by the English teacher, ability only to the humanistic fear who are few who have a gift for words. But writing isn't a skill that some people are born with and others aren't. Like a gift for art or music, writing is talking to someone else on paper. Anybody who can think clearly can write clearly and or about any subject at all. That has always been the cultural premise of this book. Central premise, I should say, of this book. On one level, therefore, the few influence or the new fluency created by email is terrific news. Any invention that eliminates the fear of writing is up there with air conditioning and delightful. But as always, there's a catch. Nobody told all the new email writers that the essence of writing is rewriting. Just because they are writing with ease and enjoyment doesn't mean they're writing well. Ain't that the case? Ain't that the truth? That condition was first revealed in the 1980s when people began writing on word processors. Two opposite things happened. The word processor made good writers better and bad writers worse. Good writers know that very few sentences come out right the first time, or even the third time or the fifth time. For them, the word processor was a rare gift, enabling them to fuss endlessly with the sentence, cutting and revising and reshaping without the drudgery of retyping. Bad writers became even more verbose because writing was suddenly so easy and their sentences looked so pretty on the screen. How could such beautiful sentences not be perfect? Email pushed that verbosity to a new extreme. Chatter unlimited. It's a spontaneous medium, not conducive to slowing down or looking back. That makes it ideal for the never-ending upkeep of personal life, maintaining contact with far-flung children and grandchildren and friends and long-lost classmates. If writing is often garrulous and disorganized and not quite clear, no real harm is done. But email is also where much of the world's business is now conducted. Millions of email messages every day give people the information that they need to do their job, and a badly written message can cause a lot of damage. Employers have begun to realize that they literally cannot afford to hire men and women who cannot write sentences that are tight and logical and clear. The new information age, for all its high-tech gadgetry, is finally writing based. Email, the internet, and the fax are all forms of writing. And writing is, finally, a craft that is with its own set of tools, which are words. Like all tools, they have to be used right. On Writing Well is a craft book. That's what I set out to write 25 years ago. A book that would teach the craft of writing warmly and clearly, and is practically, and its principles have never changed. I've revised and expanded it 5 times since 1976 to keep pace with new trends and in language and in society. A far greater interest in memoir writing, for instance, and in writing about business and science and sports, and in nonfiction writing by women and by newcomers to the United States from other cultural traditions. I'm also not the same person I was 25 years ago. Books that teach, if they have a long life, should reflect who the writer has become at later stages of his own long life. What he has been doing and thinking about. On Writing Well, and I have grown older and wiser together. In each of the 5 new editions, the new material consisted of things I had learned since the previous edition by continuing to wrestle with the craft of as a writer. As a teacher, I've been far more preoccupied with the intangibles of the craft, the attitudes and values, like enjoyment and confidence and intention that keep us going and produce our best work. But it wasn't until the 6th edition that I knew enough to write the 2 chapters, 21 and 22, that deal with proper length with those attitudes and values. Ultimately, however, good writing rests on the craft and always will. I don't know what still new writer or what newer electronic marvels are waiting just around the corner to help to make writing twice as easy and twice as fast as in the next 25 years. But I do know they won't make writing twice as good. That will still require plain old hard work, clear thinking, and the plain old tools of the English language. William Zinsser, September 2001. So that introduction was written 18 years ago. So I'm going to stop there. But main points on the introduction were the new technology. He broke down the advances in technology since the 1980s, and that people who claimed that they weren't good writers or didn't want to write are indeed writing, and people should write because it, like you said, it's like talking to someone on paper. But nowadays they have the new email. He didn't cover text messages, but it's the same premise. And excited to learn from this book. So stay tuned. If you like what I've done so far, please subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.